Did you see the match line? I mean, it's guaranteed so.
So a couple weeks ago, I traveled to Las Vegas, Nevada to watch the most highly anticipated jiu-jitsu match of all time. Craig Jones versus Gabby Garcia. Um, man, as you could take my opinions with a grain of salt because I really am more of a mixed martial arts guy. I always have been. It's the whole reason I even started training to begin with. I got into wrestling because I wanted to learn how to stay on the feet and not have to worry about being on the ground at all. Like that was the whole reason. I'm more of a Muay Thai guy. I've always been, but this last year I've really fell in love with jiu-jitsu a lot more, and now I decided to go to CJI and check it out in person. And I never thought I was going to enjoy jiu-jitsu as much as I did. Like it felt as big as going to a UFC event, which I've been to quite a few of, at least back in the day. Now they've really skyrocketed in price. I don't think I'm gonna go to too many anymore. But man, CJI, I think this event really can bring a whole lot of more people into it. I really think Craig Jones made something monumental out of jiu-jitsu for a casual audience with bringing the pit over and just the marketing alone and the way he chose to really hype this event up with Gabby Garcia and kind of just not take it too serious. I think that was probably the biggest part of it. That's always Craig Jones's attitude, and I think a lot of people could find it endearing that he doesn't see himself as this macho, badass guy, like he's just fucking around all the time. But, you know, I did get my Craig Jones Invitational hat. I think this should say veteran on the top and should be only available to people who made it through the first day. Because as much as I loved the event, day one was insane to get through. Now, think of an average UFC event. There's 12 fights, maybe 13 or 14. I don't think they even do 14. Maybe 13 max, but 12 is typical. 12 UFC fights scheduled for 15 minutes each, right? And these events go for like 8 hours. CJI, day one, had 24 matches scheduled with 3 5-minute rounds apiece. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. And the pacing definitely made it feel like it. I thought they were going to accommodate it in some way. Like, just rush them out, not do too many interviews, just go bang, match. Okay, get your hand raised, get out of here. But that was not the case at all. I think everybody really got an interview. They would stop between to hype each next bout up, which, I mean, it makes sense. If you're live streaming, you definitely probably got a better experience for day one. And I'm not saying day one had a bad experience in person. I'm just saying it was long. It was a long day. I think it started at like noon, maybe 11 a.m. And I think we got out. It was about 10 hours, 10, 11 hours of just watching straight jiu-jitsu matches. And the big boys starting out. I mean, Nicky Rod started off strong, you know. He got a submission in the second round over Max Jimenez. And yeah, that was great. But Jesus Christ. Let's see, yeah. We had 3 straight matches after that go to a decision, majority decision, split decision, unanimous decision. Pat Downey and Luke Rockhold was entertaining, at least. Funny to watch. Kind of sad for Luke. Definitely didn't make him look too good. But yeah, just the pacing was insane. It was like watching Sky Pia of One Piece for the first time, for anybody who could relate to that, and you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the big boys started off pretty slow. That definitely made it drag. Some highlights, obviously, like I said, Pat Downey beating Luke Rockhold. Fun match overall. It felt like they weren't taking it too seriously, even though there's $1 million, and I would murder somebody for that. So I think Luke Rockhold could have done more. Didn't feel like he took it too seriously, but knowing Luke Rockhold, he was probably injured or something. He gets it. He's been injured like every fight of his career lately, even before the retirement and before the Paulo Costa fight. Victor Hugo, Lucas Kennard. Like I said, I haven't been super passionate about jiu-jitsu, so take my opinions with a grain of salt. but I heard everybody talking about how this was just supposed to be a wash. Lucas Kennard, 15 seed in the over 80 kilo bracket, and then he comes out with a minute submission by heel hook over Victor Hugo. Yeah, that was a huge highlight. Everybody popped off in the crowd. Yeah, speaking of the crowd, yeah, it was a good crowd for CJI. I didn't think they were gonna have like crazy amount of people, especially for day one. Day one was pretty good. In the beginning, not so much. I saw even on some posts on Instagram, you could see it was like pretty empty, especially because everybody was over at the merch getting their Street X stuff, so it didn't fill out for a while. And every time I would go back up, like to go to the restroom or something, yeah, those merch lines were just packed the entire time. It was kind of insane. Like it made no sense. It stretched to like the lines were like half the arena long on the outside. Going on, still in the over 80s. Yeah, Nicky Rod kind of just dominated. 2 submissions for the opening bracket of day one. Adam Bradley surprising me, getting past Pat Downey. Adam Bradley also pretty local to my area a little bit. Lucas Kennard kind of outsized by Ignacio Santos. Everybody was kind of rooting for Lucas Kennard after he beat Victor Hugo. I mean, who doesn't want to see a guy just come out and really be the underdog and be that success story? Everybody loves that, but unfortunately for Kennard, it didn't work out that way. Felipe Andrew, same thing. Kind of, I really like watching the big guys, or watching a smaller guy beat a big guy. So I think it was the same kind of vibe there. Really happy for Felipe Andrew making it as far as he did. Day one, he went 2-0. William Tackett, obviously, over Rocha, came out with a loss. Started off way too hot, way too strong against a guy that's way too big, and just burned himself out. He was puking on the sidelines after the match while Rocha was getting his interview. That's one of the matches that definitely woke us up. And then, like I said, it kind of went to decisions after that. Bradley versus Downey decision, Kennard and Ignacio Santos decision, Andrew versus Rocha decision. So, I mean, I was getting so tired by this point. But then Tyra Tolo and Jason Nolf opening the under 80 kilos division absolutely made the place pop off. Jason Nolf just wrestling like a fucking dog, you know, definitely way more wrestling heavy as a Nittany Lions Wrestling Club member. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised Tyra Tolo was able to do so well in the wrestling aspect, but I mean, I guess it's just easier to stop a shot when you're standing straight up and anticipating the shot the whole time, right? But he also wrestled pretty well. I didn't know he would have that good of wrestling, like to go with a guy like Jason Nolf. Obviously the submissions were there the whole time. Jason Nolf had to show a lot of grit, fighting off a lot of submission attempts. Ultimately gets submitted in the third round by a knee bar. I feel like the wrestlers are always susceptible to leg locks more. But yeah, awesome match. Woke everybody up. Roberto Jimenez getting tapped out immediately by Levi Jones-Leary. Like I said, I didn't know. There's a lot of people I did not know going into this, but damn, these matches were entertaining. Levi Jones, swole as shit. I don't know how he looked on the broadcast. I didn't really watch it back. I watched some matches back, but more like the crazy ones, or just the ones that, like, guys I really want to analyze more and kind of steal from their game. I've never really been into the bottom. Like I said, I started wrestling, and I've always been a top guy. But yeah, Levi Jones-Leary, definitely a guy that is just entertaining as hell, even from the bottom. Ripped out of his mind. He was popping muscles through his rash guard. It made no sense to me. Also, you know, there's no testing for this. I'm sure he's on the sauce. Lucas Barboza versus Kenta. There's some Japanese guys absolutely fucking heartbroken in the crowd next to us when Kenta lost. Yeah, Hulk looked good though. Andy Varela versus Joseph Chen. Joseph looked way better in this match than he did in the last match with Andy. Really impressive match. It was way more dominant this time. Still fun to watch, even though it went to a decision. Rutillo versus Denise. I don't really remember this one, to be honest. Ankle lock in the first round, though. Yeah, Cade. Both the Rotolers were fucking super entertaining. Obviously, the Tackets were super entertaining. Canuto versus Langecker. Langecker's scary as hell with his leg locks. He won Majid. Oh, wait, I'm not even thinking of the right guy. I was thinking of Flanagan. Yeah, I don't remember those guys too well. Majid Hage versus Flanagan. I was ready for Majid. Delmar guy. Local guy. Came up short. Yeah. Flanagan's really good with those legs. Taggart versus Nicky Ryan. Jesus Christ. That one was hard to watch. I mean, I think Nicky Ryan was supposed to lose from what my friends were telling me. They're way more into jiu-jitsu than I am. Like I said, this is just my recap from the outside looking in. And I don't know what Andrew Tackett's fucking pronouns are, but I'm assuming they're they, them, because it looked like two guys were beating the shit out of Nicky Ryan. Nicky Ryan was just getting manhandled the whole time, and that was really hard to watch at a certain point, especially when Andrew Tackett's just brushing his hair and fucking around the whole time. Like, it had to have been so demoralizing. Nicky Ryan almost got like a guillotine or something at the end of the match, and everybody was freaking out about it. Then, obviously, Andrew Taggart got out and just kept shitting on him. Really set the tone, though, with that match. Like, I think we all knew what to expect after that. Like, okay, he's probably just going to steamroll his way until he gets to one of the Rotolos, or Cade. Yeah, Ty Rotolo, Levi Jones-Leary, super entertaining match. Barboza versus Chen, loved that match. I was not expecting the submission at the end. I thought Joseph Chen just had to really kind of coast a little bit. He was doing really well in the third round. They were 1-1, I think, and actually, he might have been behind. I can't remember. Either way, I just know Chen looked like he was up on the scorecards, or winning, and then came up short with that submission loss. Rotolo Langacker, I don't remember that one too well. Bear with me. Flanagan versus Tackett. Again, Andrew Taggart just looked really dominant. 15 minutes straight. I mean, he's not finishing the guys, but he's just demoralizing them, and it's pretty awful. And it really set the tone. Like, as soon as that match was over, like, I was kind of just salivating for watching Taggart versus Rotolo. Like, it was a lot of foreshadowing going into the second day. You just knew there was going to be something special with that one. Next up, Nicky Rod versus Adam Brandley. Nicky Rod gets his hand raised, gets into the finals. Inacio Santos, Felipe Andrew. I was really happy to see Felipe Andrew get into the finals, submitted Inacio Santos. But I just had a feeling Nicky Rod was way too big for him, and ultimately he did get submitted in the finals. Nicky Rod gets the $1 million. I mean, you're the favorite. You're supposed to do it. Yeah, Nicky Rod just dominated this whole tournament, really. I mean, he submitted it everybody. Cade Rotolo. Oh, wait, Levi Jones versus Lucas Barboza. That was a really fun match, too. I liked that one a lot. Rotolo versus Tackett. Yeah, what can you even fucking say about that one? I know a lot of people thought Andrew Tackett... Or wait, no, sorry, I'm thinking ahead of myself. They're thinking Levi Jones there was the one that people were more split on online. But yeah, Rotolo versus Taggart, best match I've ever seen when it comes to grappling in general, like wrestling or jiu-jitsu. I couldn't believe it watching it live, and just like the energy inside the arena, the stream definitely didn't do it justice. It was fucking amazing. Playing the Rocky music in between rounds, whoever the fuck, I'm sure Craig was texting the DJ telling him to do that or something, I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, one of the most entertaining matches I've ever seen in my life. Cade Rotolo's a dog, Andrew Taggart's a dog. It was exactly what we were expecting after day one when both guys were looking so good. Then we got our first super fight, Mackenzie Dern, Fionn Davies. I didn't really know Fionn Davies going into it. Obviously, I'm a MMA fan, so I knew Mackenzie Dern. But my jiu-jitsu friends were saying Fionn Davies was going to crush Mackenzie Dern. And that's pretty much what happened. First round, she just was getting obliterated. And then second round, she got subbed. I mean, she showed her heart, showed her grit, looked like a fighter out there. But Fionn Davies just too good. Craig Jones versus Gabby Garcia. I knew this match was... I didn't know this match was going to be, like... I didn't know if it was going to be serious, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't know if it was just a joke and they were going to fuck around the entire time. But match starts and, I mean, it was pretty obvious Craig Jones didn't have to try. Like, just from the absolute jump of it, which... I thought Gabby would be, like, a little better than that, you know, gender aside and all that. But, nope, Craig Jones, too strong as a man, too technically sound as a man, and got that one done for the boys. Got the rear naked choke in the second round after he stopped fucking around, and went for the leg locks. I thought Gabby Garcia was just going to let her fucking legs explode, but luckily Craig didn't let it happen, and he went for the neck instead. Gabby Garcia getting all the love, became the baby face for jiu-jitsu over the event. That was really awesome. I love the chant that everybody gave for her. Well deserved. She got her flowers, and obviously, I mean, honestly, that was like the most motivational and like inspiring part of the event for sure, outside of the Tackett match. Tackett Rotolo. Then going on to the finals. Leary versus Rotolo. I think Cade made a lot of sense with what he said for his interview after Tackett versus Rotolo, or when he fought Andrew Tackett. He said that there needs to be some kind of stall call for guys that just sit back and wait. And again, I'm not like a pure jiu-jitsu guy, but I do believe there's something to that when a guy's just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, then you can't say they're initiating. Sure, the other guy's waiting as well, standing over him, but he's like circling around trying to find a way in safely. I feel like that guy's doing more to engage personally than the guy that's just trying to snag on a leg and just sit back and wait the whole time. I guess it's just objectively from match to match. It's going to be situational, but for the most part, I agree with Cade. I mean, again, I'm a top guy. I'm going to be a little biased. But yeah, that's just what I think. I did have Cade winning as well. I think I had it 2-2 going into the last round, and then I gave Cade the last round. Just my personal score. I'm not the guy who chose. I'm not the guy that gave Cade the $1 million, but that's my opinion. Overall, I think this is a really huge match. I think we're going to see an explosion of way more people joining jiu-jitsu, appreciating jiu-jitsu, watching jiu-jitsu, and being part of the sport. And I think it's going to grow a lot from here and evolve more with so many more people joining in and just getting in on such an amazing sport. I did not think CJI was going to have this kind of effect. I thought it was going to be like a fun, like, you know, taking the piss out of the whole thing, joking around, like give the guys the money they deserve, have a fun time, but it genuinely felt historic, and I was really, really grateful to have been part of witnessing the first one, and I really hope they keep doing this. I hope it's not a one-off. I hope it happens annually, and, you know, the highest the highest end of the sport gets paid the way they deserve, the way Craig Jones wants. And yeah, I just can't look forward. I can't wait, and I can't wait for the next one. I'm really hyped on the next one. I think more guys are going to join, more high-level guys, and also, obviously, I hope Gordon Ryan takes up that offer from Nicky Rod for the $1 million. And yeah, that's really all I got.